All right, how you doing? Kerry Sullivan here with another How to Kick Ass in Sales.com video interview with today. My main man, Mack Burrnett. And Mack Burrnett and I met, I don't know how many years ago. It was at a Ryan Lee event. It was, I don't know. What year was that?
It's like 6 years, man. It was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was like 09. It was like 09.
Yeah. And it was beginning days of him and I getting going online and trying to figure stuff out. And then we ran into each other the other day, and he's been doing all kinds of things with sales and everything else. And he's a digital strategist and a thought leader, a speaker, an author, and he really is a guy who's got a lot of awesome stuff to say. And I thought I'd bring him on here because he's working with a lot of sales professionals now, and I know he's going to give some great value and light things on fire. So Mack, welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody out there. What's going on? My name is Mack Burrnett III. I am the Chief Success Officer of Simple Success Solutions, and I consider myself a freedom fighter for entrepreneurs, and we help you get free by reaching profitable, transformational results. And it's kind of real simple like that. And I think people make business too complicated, so our goal is to make it a little simpler to get to.
There we go. Love it. Love it. So here's the deal. I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions first, just so we can get to know you.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite color?
I'll say pink.
Nice. Favorite food?
Oh, man. Mexican.
What is your favorite place you ever visited?
Favorite place I ever visited? Wow. Might be Anguilla.
Awesome. What is your favorite book?
Favorite book? Maybe Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's the one that set it all in motion. Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Nice, nice. Favorite sports team?
Knicks, New York Knicks, all day.
Nice. And then favorite movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Season of the year?
Season of the year. Fall. Autumn.
Nice.
Here we go into my favorite.
All right, so that's a rapid fire round. You made it through.
Go.
Good deal. All right, so Mack, I know you're starting to do a lot with the salespeople out there, and one of the things we were talking about a little bit between you and I was the difference between serving and selling, and is there a difference? How that all works?
Yeah, totally.
Think about it. Go on, man.
So I think that there is a huge difference between serving and selling. However, if you do one of those, the other one comes naturally. And one of the things that I have learned in this whole business is I'm all about, when I'm dealing in sales, I'm dealing with sales professionals, or I'm dealing with customers and clients, is that my goal is ultimately to serve them. It's to serve them, and it's not necessarily to sell them. Sure, I'm like everybody else. I want to close. I have my own quotas. I have my own goals. I have my own dreams. I have my own wishes. I have my own desires, and I want to get there. But at the same time, if I am solely and wholly focused on serving my customer and serving my client and serving my market, at some point, they will reach in their pocket and offer their money to me. Do I have to sometimes convert people? Yes, of course I do, because there's people that are scared to take a leap. I understand that. But if you are qualified, and I am serving you and I am serving your needs, it is much easier for me to get that sale.
Right on, right on. So, all right, let's talk about your thing. So when you first, when I first met you,
yeah,
were you selling sporting goods?
No. When you first, no, that's close though. When you first met me, I had my own shop, right? So I had a shop. And so let me go back a little ways. So I had my own consulting company where we did technology, innovation, marketing, a bunch of different things. And this is all before the iPad. And I built something. I was in Wall Street Journal, all these different Network Journal, Black Enterprise. I was in all these magazines, and I had created all this really cool technology, and that got me a lot of real estate clients. And I did that for a while. And then 2007, 8 hits. The real estate market starts collapsing, and I have all these real estate clients that can't afford me. So lo and behold, what I did was I moved my shop into Manhattan, opened up a little shop trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I kept my team together. And I just started doing more marketing. I made T-shirts and banners and signs and websites. And I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do next. So I did this in the meantime. And so, one of the things that brought me to the virtual conference is as I was selling and as I was marketing, I noticed that 80% of my business was coming through the phone via the web. And I had all of this overhead with the shop. So I made the entire operation virtual. I moved all of the production to outsourcers. I moved all of my vendors online. And I mean, all of my team and my staff online. So when you would call me, my phones would actually be answered in the south of France, in a forest in the south of France. I had a woman who answered my phones. She would then throw it over to my production manager, who was in like Idaho, or I think, yeah, she was like in Idaho, and she was a stay-at-home mom. Yeah. And that was it. And then the production would come out of the various vendors shipped from me, and all I did was process the credit cards. So I made a huge transition from big consulting company to physical shop to online in a very short period of time, because I was following what the market was doing, and I started to see what I could do with the power of Google, and I was like, wow, okay, or the power of search, and I was like, wow, okay, I can do that. And now that's kind of where it led me.
Was that all SEO or was it PPC? How were you doing that?
At the time, it was all organic. It was all organic. So I was using Google Local, which was a very different animal then than it is now. There was no Google Plus. There was none of that. So I learned how to keyword stuff, all of the listings. So pretty much when you typed anything with banner signs, T-shirts, same day T-shirt, whatever, I came up first and I tweaked it. And in New York City, so tri-state area, I pretty much owned that market. And one time, this is when I knew that it was over. I was literally, so every year I'd go to Atlanta to hang out with a buddy of mine in Atlanta. And, you know, I'd usually hang out till New Year's. His birthday was like New Year's. We'd hang out. I'd stay till a second, come back, right? Yeah. So I'm hanging out, and we had some other friends that were going back north. I was like, well, I'm going that way. So mind you, I'm like 3 days over now, so it's like the 5th. And I'm like, all right, I'll drive you guys to North Carolina or South Carolina. I was going to Charleston, and then I'll just keep it moving. So I'm in Charleston. I had forwarded my phone to my cell phone. I get an order from some guy who called me from Europe for calling me for an agency in New York. The agency calls me back, processes the order. It was some ridiculous order. It was like a $15,000 order. And I forgot how much money I made, but I made like 2, 3, 4 grand sitting in a Kinko's in Charleston. And I processed the order. They had the artwork, and I hung up the phone, and I was like, I never want a brick and mortar store ever again. And all of that was done virtually. And at that moment, I knew I needed to learn how to harness the power of the internet. And that was from a marketing perspective. But then as you evolve and change, you also gotta get better at sales. And I was always good at sales. And marketing of sales are cousins, and people need to understand that, right? One is bringing them in and telling the story, and the other is getting them through the door and getting them to sign and commit, right? So so I had to learn the whole show. But at that point, I knew. At that moment, I knew. I was like, I can't see doing a brick and mortar again. I just didn't see the point.
Right. All right. And then fast forward today, who's like your ideal client? And I know you speak too, so we'll get into that. But who's your ideal client?
Totally. So my ideal, like I said, I'm a freedom fighter for entrepreneurs, and I want them to get transformational results. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a lot of business coaching. I do a lot of speaking. An ideal client for me is a client who maybe isn't just starting, somebody who's been around a little bit, got kicked around, tried to do it, is very passionate about what they do, but has recommitted, but is now frustrated, right? Because what happens is one of two things happens is you start a business or you start a venture and you start running up a road and you hit a wall, okay? Or you start a business, you keep going, you're successful, and later on, you've gotten to a certain point of success, and then you hit a wall. Either way, we all hit a wall. When you hit that wall, you either back away from that thing that you're passionate about, or you make a decision and you recommit. So anybody who is passionate but frustrated and is looking to break through with their business, that's an ideal client for me.
Yeah, yeah. How much of it would you say is the mindset, and how much of it would you say is the actual mechanics?
It's so funny. If the clients think that it's 100% mechanics or 80% mechanics, like what am I supposed to do? And in all reality, a large part of it is about them. So I would say, percentage wise, it's probably 50-50 at this point. It's 50-50 mindset, 50-50 mechanics. But you know, I think that's on a case-by-case basis. If I had to average it out, because some people are 60-40 mindset, some people are 60-40 mechanics, but I'll say 50-50 on an average. Yeah.
Right. And then, so you're talking to me, we're talking the other day, and you're like, oh, I'm speaking, I got books now. Tell me all about that. What's going on there?
Yeah, man. So pretty much I go around and I speak to different types of entrepreneurs. I also do some speaking on digital marketing. I'm a part-time professor at NYU. I teach digital marketing and digital strategy business at New York University in a continuing education program. So, you know, that's pretty fun. That's a lot of fun. And I get to meet people from all around the world. So, like, my email list has people from Tokyo and France and all of these people that I've taught, let alone the people that know me from speaking. And that's pretty much it. And that's how I find a lot of my clients, by speaking, which is why I've been encouraged to step out of my comfort zone, because success, be clear, success lives in uncomfortable. So I'm constantly trying to make myself uncomfortable and push myself through.
Yeah.
And so I got on Blab, and that's how we reconnected, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, right. So I'm trying to do new things. I'm trying to really do Periscope and be focused on that and all that kind of stuff. But realistically, I'm about getting a message out there about business doesn't have to be complicated. There's too much clutter in the marketplace. There's too much noise in the marketplace. Everybody should have a mentor and a coach, right? Like, I have a coach, my coach has a coach, and so forth and so on. And a coach's job is just to help you see the way you hit the ball. Because most people, that's the reality, right? Like Michael, if you take a Michael Jordan, a Tiger Woods, a Serena Williams, a president of the United States, he has coaches. They're called his cabinet. So, you know, I've become a high level coach for individuals who are high performance. And I've just been going around speaking and delivering that message and being authentic about it and serving that audience. And those people who connect with me and those people who resonate with me become clients. And it's that simple.
Yeah. So what do you think are the biggest mistakes that people are making out there in terms of trying to get things going online? And then we'll break that. Actually, I'll go into the next question with that. Hit that one first.
I think the biggest thing that people are doing is they're focusing too much on the mechanics, too much on the how to do it, and not enough on the why, right? The biggest problem with digital marketing today is a lack of strategy. People aren't thinking about the how people buy and the why people buy, right? So I think everybody's trying to like close. It's like dating to me, right? Everybody's trying to close on the first date, right? Like, why are you trying to close on the first date? Like, you know, let's go out. Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's go out for drinks. Let's, you know, first of all, not only is it a better close when you close in that way, not only is it a better quality of person when you close them like that, it's usually for a higher transactional value, and those people will usually stay with you longer. So I think people are not trying to build relationships online. I think what they're trying to do is sell stuff. And when you stop trying to sell stuff and you just try to serve people, like, listen, here's some cool stuff, here's some cool food. I get more business by accident than I do by intentional, just by being out there. Like, I'll just go, sometimes somebody will meet with me and they'll network. They're like, Mac, let's have a cup of coffee. This is a true story. Last week, one of my students came out and was like, Mac, because I give all my students a free cup of coffee. And you can pick my brain for an hour. I hate that term. You can engage me for an hour. We'll work on your startup, your resume, whatever. So you buy the coffee, you buy the drink, I give my time. And so I had my student came, well, I've been in fashion, and now I'm trying to be in marketing, and and I said, okay. And I kind of walked them through some coaching exercises, and we talked. And by the end of the hour and 20 minutes, she was sitting there in tears like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now. Because she had spent all of this time focused on her plan B and not enough time looking at her plan A. Because she wants to be a cook, but she doesn't feel like her father will approve, which has nothing to do with marketing. It's nothing to do with fashion.
Yeah.
But so many people are focused on their plan B and not focused on their plan A. So I put together a plan for her to try to focus on that transformation for herself. Because and the reason I say transformation, I want to be clear with everybody. The reason I say transformation is because people don't change. People don't change. Everybody goes, oh, so-and-so changed. No, they made a decision that they didn't want to be this anymore. And you make a decision to do that, and immediately you transform. I don't want to smoke anymore. You stop buying cigarettes. I don't want to be fat. You stop buying fast food. You whatever it is, I don't want to do this, and you go to college. Whatever it is, you make a decision and you transform and you do something else. And that is kind of how the road starts towards transformation.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're teaching at NYU too, right? Yeah. So here's my question for you, because things are moving fast now, really fast. And interesting stuff going on with education, right? I mean, in some ways they're kind of pricing themselves out of the market, and totally. And in some ways they're totally like, not relevant in what they're teaching and stuff. And look, I've got a master's degree, like or whatever. But and you're teaching there. So what do you think's going on with education? Where you see the future going there? What do you tell people that because okay, you talked to this girl who was a student of yours, probably shouldn't have been in school, right? So what's your opinion on all
that? Let me say this: school always has a place. It will always have a place. It is. Do I think we need to revisit what school looks like, especially primary and secondary education? Absolutely, because we're using a system that is 100, 200 years old in a time when everything has changed. Over the last 50 years, think about how we live. It has fundamentally shifted in the way that we think, learn, process information, have access to information. So I think we need to rethink the educational system overall. And I don't think that most educational scholars would agree with me in that. I think most. I think school always has a place. One of the reasons why I didn't become a teacher in the formal sense is because teachers do a lot of work. They put in a lot of effort, but they don't own the sales channel. So I love teaching, but I don't teach for the money. I teach because I love teaching. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So what I do outside of that, a lot of it is teaching, but what I teach outside of a formal institution, I own the sales channel, right? So if I put 25 people in a program and it's $500, I own that sales channel. Or it's $1,000, I own that sales channel. So it's a very different experience for me being able to talk about it, market it, sell it, and deliver it. And that's all happening under my umbrella. It's a different experience. However, formal education for the purposes of people having certificates and licensing and all that, I think there is a place, but I also think that there's a place where we've come to where people are more concerned about what you know than what your paperwork says. Because I know a whole lot of people with a whole lot of paperwork that can't find jobs. And I'm talking about PhDs that can't find work. That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. So, but here's what I want to say, and here's what I've come to over the summer. I wrote down a list of all of my challenges because I don't really feel like I have any problems. And this is important for your audience to know specifically. I wrote down all of my challenges, and I don't think I have a whole lot of problems. Problems are something you can't affect change on. So, for example, God forbid, I got cancer. God forbid, right? Or somebody gets cancer. God forbid. You have no control over that. I mean, yes, you can change your diet and et cetera, but you can't control it once it's happened, right? You can go and get help and whatever. A challenge is something that if you put your mind to it, you can affect change on it. Most of the stuff we look at, we think is problems. They're not. They're challenges. So what I realized is I wrote down all of my challenges, and I realized there's very few challenges that I have right now, Kerry, that I can't sell my way out of. You can sell your way out of most of the challenges that you have. And your audience who is about sales, guys, you can sell your way out of your problems. If you have a challenge, set a goal, double it, and hit it. You can, I'm telling you, there's some things I'm trying to do right now. I can sell my way out of it. And it feels so good to know that, to understand it, and be able to predict those results. I hit my sales quotas for September, for this month, September 1st. I had quotas for September. I hit it before the month started. I hit it, and I was sitting down watching TV, and I was like, "Why am I watching TV? What's wrong with me?" And it hit me. I set my goal too low. I set the quota for September. I was like, boom, tripled the goal, quadrupled the goal, right? 5 times the goal, 10x the goal. All right, now let's go back to work, right? Because what I had done is I was like, okay, I set a goal. It was too low, and I hit it. So now what do? I need to raise the ceiling, and I need to sell my way out of my problems. And I think once people understand that, and you understand that selling is from a place of service, and you can predict it, it gives you a control over your life and a joy and a happiness I can't explain until you get there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people don't like to say, they say money's evil and all that crap. But look, money, you can fix a lot of things in your life with money. I don't care what anyone says. You can, you really can. And it's just the way it is. That's the truth. I don't care what anyone says. So, and sales is one of those things. So let me ask you this. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that sales professionals are making today?
I think sales professionals, and I'm guilty of this sometimes, are not following up. They're just not following up enough. They're not following up furiously. They're not following up on the channels where people are. I've done deals on video where people I've never met them, trying to be everything to everyone. I think that's a big problem. And also not understanding not having active listening to understand who you're talking to. Sometimes if you're trying to sell somebody a grade A product and they're not a grade A customer, but you have a grade B product, it's okay to introduce the grade B product. I see everybody so committed. Let's say they're commission. They're trying to hit a number and they're focused on their commission, and you're trying to get somebody with the grade A. And this goes back to serving. If I'm serving you, I'm going to say, okay, you want to buy from me because I've met the burden, right? KLT factor. You know me, you like me, and you trust me. No sale is happening without that. So I've met that burden, right? So you're like, cool, I want to buy from this guy. You've got him ready to, or gal, excuse me. And you're getting ready to close the deal, but what you're selling them is not a good fit. Every sale has to be a win-win-win. Every relationship has to be a win. It's got to be a win for you. It's got to be a win for your customer. It's got to be a win for your team or company. Otherwise, if any one of those loses, it's not a good relationship. It's not a good deal. So even if you get them to buy the grade A package, right, but they're a grade B customer, you're not serving them. So even if you meet your quota, are you serving them best by selling them this thing that they may return, they may resent, they may have buyer's remorse? I'm trying to meet people where they're at. I'm trying to serve their needs, and I'm trying to have a product that fits all of my ideal customers, no matter where they are. So if somebody can't buy a $5,000 a month package from me, they can buy something from me. It's $300.
Yeah. So why do you think people need to get good at selling?
Exactly what I said. Listen, you sell yourself every day. You sold yourself to your wife. You sold yourself to your husband. You sold yourself to get the job. You sold yourself every day. You're selling yourself somewhere, sometime, whatever. People don't even realize when you go order a meal, I've seen people sell themselves to their waiter or waitress. Like there's a sale, like they want people's approval. All a sale is someone approving or agreeing to something. That's all a sale is. Like, yes, when there's money involved, it gets a little bit more complicated. The more money, it gets even more complicated. Sure, I get that. But all a sale is getting someone to agree to do something. That's all it is. So getting good at selling is just taking it seriously and getting rid of the guilt. Let's talk about this. Sales guilt is a big problem. A lot of people feel guilty about selling stuff. Do you think that the phone company or the cable company feels any guilt when they send you a bill? Does your landlord or mortgage company feel any guilt when they send you a bill? No. And the bank does not take what if, shoulda, woulda, coulda, goodwill and admiration as payment. They just don't. None of that is legal tender. Not in any country that I know of. Goodwill, admiration, and hugs is not legal tender. So it's okay to sell, especially if you're serving someone and it's coming from a good place, and you are working on a product or service that you approve of, that you enjoy, that you understand, that you like, that's part of it. And I know we don't always get to sell things that we want to sell, and I understand that. But at the same time, if you are serving your people and you're selling, it is so important, because what it gives you is a certain control over your life that other people don't have. You know, you can go out there and you can pick up that phone, or you can go out there. I know if you put me in front of 100 people, I will close 40 to 50% of that room. If you put 100 entrepreneurs in a room, I will close 40 to 50% of them. Not what I think, what I know, because I know how to speak to an entrepreneur. I know how to connect with entrepreneurs. I know what their problems are, and I really can do what I'm saying I can do. And because I believe it, and because I'm authentic, authenticity, huge. Because I'm authentic, I'm a real person. I connect with people as a real person. People come to me and buy to me. I don't have to work as hard as other people. But because I know I can do that, I can turn on a light switch and I can predict what my income is going to be. And that is such a freeing thing to be able to do that and to know that.
Yeah. Let's talk about authenticity there for a minute, because so, you know, when you see speakers and they're up there and they're speaking and you're like, you're so fake. So fake. Even though like people like love them, but they're so polished and they're just like, I was there and all this stuff. And you're just like, it drives me nuts. And like, or newscasters, same deal. And they're like, next, I go crazy now. I don't know what it is, why that pisses me off so much now, but because I guess it's because it's not authentic. But why don't you just talk a little bit about that? What's your opinion on that?
You know, I heard Jay-Z say something one time that really connected with me. And he was like, someone was interviewing him and they were asking him about the art that he produces. And he says, well, you know, I've gotten to a point in my career where you either get it or you don't.
Yeah.
Not because I think that I don't have any place to artistically grow, but I have artistically grown. And he says, I would much rather be myself in front of you, in this interview, in my music, on the stage, than have to go out on that stage every day and put on a mask to be successful. What a horrible life, he said, to have to put on a mask and be somebody you're not to earn a living. Wouldn't that be horrible? And I think he's right. Moreover, than today, people's BS meter is so strong. Like, they know when somebody's being real or not. They can connect with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, listen, you can say, listen, politics aside, this is not about politics.
Yeah.
Let's take Donald Trump. Whatever Donald Trump is, when Donald Trump starts to talking, that's who he is. He's really that guy.
Yeah.
And people are connecting with that because he shoots from the hip. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You get what you get. And that's what people connect with. They don't, you know, it's great to have the big rhetoric and the speeches and all that, but they're connecting with wrong, whether he's wrong and right or what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's being real, and people are hungry for real. So to me, authenticity is just you getting up there and being who you are and connecting with people. It's about relationships, and people have gotten to a point where they can discern what's real and what's not real. And I got to tell you, a lot of times I'll go on stage and people don't want me there because they're there to give a show and I'm not. I'm there to get on stage and be myself. I wear a blazer and a t-shirt and some jeans, and I get on stage and these guys are polished. They got the suits and whatever, and they're going up there and they're selling. And I get up there and I just tell a story, and I'm just talking, and I tell my story, and I'm talking about what I'm talking about, and I connect with their pain points, and I look at everybody as a person. And that one piece of authenticity is one of the reasons why my close rate is so high. Is because I get up there and I'm not selling anything. I get up there and I'm being myself, and I'm like, now granted, some people's authentic self, maybe they shouldn't be up on stage selling, because, but is their authentic self connected to people? Is their authentic self connected to serving? Is it coming from a good place? Yes, I am authentic, but I'm also coming from a good place, and I mean well. And if I can't help you, I won't hurt you. And that's just kind of how I'm built. That authenticity is the single, it took, I'm being perfectly honest. My being authentic and serving my client first took my business from 0 to 100 in 90 days. Like just making that, like I said, when I said people don't change, they transform, I transformed. I made a decision that every single deal that I did for the rest of my life, I would serve somebody. And if I'm not the guy for you, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay not doing the deal. I'm fine with that. If you're not a good fit for me right now, and I'm not a good fit for you, that's okay. You know who I am. Maybe I can serve you or somebody else that you know at some point. But if I'm being my authentic self, then I'll attract people like myself.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's interesting too, because I think with social media that so many people are out there just being themselves and being real. And I think people's BS meter has gone up even more because like when you and I were growing up watching TV, like there was no YouTube or whatever, right? Nope. And everything was polished, real polished. Yep. And so you kind of thought that's the way it was. And so when you see these speakers come up and they're super polished and like, so it's all canned, like I don't think a lot of people would have picked that up 20, 15 years ago. But now I feel like people, like for me, I'm like, I can't deal with it. It's crazy. It's pretty interesting. The other thing that you talk about there too is that's interesting is like when you tell someone that you're not right for them or you got another idea for them, but you're not the solution, they want it even more. Have you noticed that?
Totally.
Like, oh, no, but I want to, no, we need to do something. I want you, you know? And so like for all the salespeople out there, don't be afraid to do that because it'll come back to you. You'll get referrals or whatever, you know? So it's definitely worth doing. It's pretty crazy.
It's really, you guys want to see something magical. I literally had a client who wasn't a client at the time, chase me around for 8 months and try to get me to take him on board as a client. So if you guys really want to see how strong your product is, especially your high level stuff, build a wall around it. Make it hard to get to. People want to be inside the velvet rope. Build a velvet rope around your product. Say, well, I don't know this for you. This isn't for everybody. I do that all the time. I say, well, I don't know if this may not be for you. It's not for everybody. And to be honest, it's not. I don't want everybody.
It's true.
It's not.
Yeah, that's another big mistake, you know. The people that you know, the salespeople are like, oh, I could sell ice to an Eskimo, I could sell to anyone. I'm like, huge red flags there. I'm like, look, not everyone's your freaking market. No, you can't sell everyone. Like, you don't want to sell everyone, you know?
You don't, even if you could, you don't want to. You don't want to sell everyone. Why would you? I don't want everyone as a client. I was on the phone. I met a girl at a networking event. We connected. We were talking. So I jumped on a call with her, whatever. We started talking. And she's trying to, like, get me to, like, network with her and whatever. And I'm just like, okay, so this is not a good fit. And I'm coaching her, and I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah. And I'm realizing 40 minutes into the conversation that this isn't a good fit. It's just not a good fit. Where she's in a place. Listen, the reason that I look for the type of clients that I look for is because I've already taken my lumps. I already know what it is. Somebody who's just getting started isn't an ideal client for me. Usually, not all the time, but usually because a person starting out who's very passionate, who has a little bit of money, and their drive is 100 miles an hour, knows everything. They haven't gotten a no yet. They haven't gotten stopped. They're not frustrated yet. And somebody who knows everything, it's hard to work with. Somebody who knows everything. So that's not an ideal client for me. So you got to know who your ideal client is, and you got to sell to the people that are buying from you, who have the problem that you solve. Put a velvet rope around it. Make it harder to get to. My higher level programs, I have applications. There's a screening process. All of that kind of stuff, because I want to weed out the people that are not ideal, that may be headaches, that whatever it is, I want to weed those people out. So when I do get somebody in there, it's a good fit. They're connected. They appreciate being in there. I appreciate them as a client. I'm serving them. They're serving me. It's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of the guys I had on here last week, Rob Ramoni, we've done a lot of different sales funnels together with each other. And one of the things is that, yeah, if you're doing coaching, everything like that, reverse that freaking funnel and have them sell you the whole freaking time.
Absolutely.
They're doing it's a whole different ball game. And that's another thing that people don't realize that you could do when you start getting into the higher level sales is just have them sell you, you know?
That's it. I got to check that out.
Yeah, yeah. Mac, okay, well, first off, do you want to make any other points on anything else?
No, man, I just want to encourage everybody to really think about what I said about you can sell your way out of your problems. You can sell your challenges. I don't want to say problems. You can sell your way out of your challenges. Think about it. Set a goal, set a quota, and go and get it done. And the reason why I say people to increase your quotas is because it forces you to think differently about what you're doing. I needed to figure out how to sell 100 people at a time because what I was selling one at a time was too slow. And that's what I figured out. And that's how I made my sales quotas. Unless I increased my sales quotas and I changed my thinking, I couldn't have met my number because I needed to scale it out. I needed to increase the impact and decrease the overhead on myself, my life, and my system. So you got to be able to think differently about it, but you can sell your way out of your challenges, especially as salespeople. So don't be afraid of the numbers. Don't be afraid of the quotas. Don't.
Right on, right. Mack, where can people find you?
Yeah, everybody, you can come check me out at mackburnett.com, mackburnett.com, or you can check out my company at simplesuccess.solutions, simplesuccess.solutions. And if everybody is having sales guilt or sales problems or sales challenges, fill out a form on Simple Success Solutions or Mack Burrnett. Tell me that you saw me on Kerry Sullivan. I'll give you a free half an hour consultation and we'll go through it. I'm really good at getting people through sales guilt.
There you go. Good deal. And last, you have books? You say you have books?
Yeah, I got new stuff coming out. It's not out yet, but it's coming out.
Oh,
it'll be on those websites.
Right. Just making sure you have stuff out there.
I do have one book. If everybody wants to get it, it's called 101 Things You Need to Know About Digital. If you want to pick that up, you can go to digitaldeepdish.com/101. Or you can go to mackburnett.com/101 and you can get it there too.
Right on, right on. Well, Mack, thanks a million for coming on and taking time out of your busy day. Appreciate it, and good to see you as always.
Pleasure, sir. We have to do this in person one of these days. We got to make that happen.
Oh, definitely. All right, man. Well, thanks a million. And
thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You got it, man. Anytime.